Welcome to video podcast number 56. 99.9% chance it's going to be my last free video for the month of October. I think I'm going to do at least one, if not two more videos between now and October 31st. One video will probably be for my $5 and up Patreon subscribers. And one will be for my $10 and up Patreon subscribers. My Patreon link is below, as well as other relevant and important links below. You can always leave me feedback in the comment section below. Speaking of my Patreon, I had somebody, obviously somebody who's a new listener of mine, come with me with a criticism I haven't heard in probably weeks, if not a couple months. I used to get this criticism all the time, but I haven't gotten it in a while. But somebody said, Alan, I was listening to this video podcast, and man, you did a whole bunch of rambling before you got to the main point of your video. What did I tell you guys? Well, most of the people who watch me regularly, they already know this, so for them, I'm preaching to the choir. But for anybody who's a fairly new listener and viewer of mine, if you're looking for video podcasts that have very little, if any, ranting, very little, if any, rambling, very little, if any, admonishing, no emphasis on my haters and critics, and very little, if any, emphasis on feedback from listeners, then you need to become a Patreon subscriber below. Become a Patreon subscriber. Just about all my videos for my Patreon subscribers are purely advice-driven videos. Those are the videos where I just concentrate on dropping worthwhile knowledge, wisdom, and helpful advice for my listeners and viewers. Is on my Patreon exclusive videos. But anytime you watch a video for free, it's going to include some degree of me ranting, some degree of me rambling, some degree of me admonishing, me offering responses and rebuttals to things said by my haters and critics, and me discussing critical feedback from my listeners and viewers. First, to get this out the way, shine, baby. Shine. My favorite flavor of vitamin water zero. Now, I'm tempted as usual to say, well, this is not going to be too long. But 3 out of every 4 times I say, this video not going to be too long, it ends up being over an hour. In a couple instances, longer than an hour and a half. I'm still receiving a lot of feedback from my last 2 uploads. One upload that didn't even involve my voice at all. Man, hold on a second. Man, I don't know what it is when I do a video podcast that something on my face itches. Not my nose. I'm sorry. I mean, I know some of y'all don't believe me when I say that, man, but I would say literally, man, like probably 75 to 80% of the time I do the most touching of my face is when I do my video podcast. Like when I'm not doing a video podcast, my face never feels, you know, well, last weekend it did because I had some issues on my face that I hope are corrected now, man. I put some on my face that caused a chemical burn on my chin area, man. My chin was, woo, man. Got a lot of positive feedback. I rarely discuss positive feedback, but I appreciate my positive feedback from my, my fans, my loyal followers and financial supporters and my Patreon subscribers. So, but as to be expected, I had at least a handful of people come and try to offer a contrary opinion. I would say the one that caught my eye the most was a guy. I don't have his username in front of me. Wait a minute. Let me look. Hold on one second. One guy tried to call me, tried to say I'm not empathetic to the challenges of the, as he put it, the non-select beta male types. Now, I don't really use the term select versus non-select. That's more of a Ron Wills term. That's Ron Wills' term. Shout out to Ron Wills. He likes to use the term select versus non-select to describe guys. I'm more of an alpha male versus beta male type guy. But who's this guy? Okay, I got it in front of me now. So I'm gonna read some. I ain't gonna read everything he wrote, but I'm read. Okay, well, first I'm gonna read this. Somebody just posted 20 minutes ago on my last video. My last video was entitled, that was video podcast number 55. It was called, "How Does Being Angry and Bitter Toward Women Help Men Become More Productive in Life?" And I still pose that question to you. How does maintaining a high degree of anger, bitterness, resentment help you as a man be more successful in life, be more happy in life? How does that help you? Maintaining all this anger and bitterness and resentment and vindictiveness. How does that help you as a man? That's what I want to know. Don't tell me about what effect it might have on women. I want to know, how does it help you as a man? Okay, somebody just posted. Lloyd Landrum. Lloyd Landrum posted in my comment section. Personally, it's hard to not be angry and bitter at a specific type of woman for behavior and such that are very ironical and such for no reason. I didn't even understand that comment. I'm sorry. No disrespect against this person, but man, I couldn't even comprehend what he meant by that. Personally, it's not hard not to be angry and bitter at a specific type of woman for behavior and such that are very ironical and such for no reason. But the woman who are worth mine and others' time, I am fine and content being around. Just saying was all man. This is why people need to stay in school, so they can formulate a sentence that's comprehensible. I didn't understand what the fuck that dude just said, man. It sounded like he was trying to say, in a nutshell, that there's some women that deserve men's anger and bitterness and other women who don't. Okay, if that's the point he was trying to make, women can say the same thing. I mean, that goes both ways. There's quality men and there's low quality men. There's men who cause women to become angry and bitter towards, and there's men who don't. So, I mean, what's your point? Why are you even... Here's the thing, man. I'm going to promote my own books, man. And I'm going to toot the horn of my own books. If you own my book, the ebook version or audiobook version of The Possibility of Sex, and if you don't own the ebook version, then you should get it right now. Like, pause this video and buy that book. Seriously, I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch, but you really... you really need to buy that book. You need to buy that book. You need to buy the ebook version or preferably the audiobook version. Now, I'm not going to lie. I make more money off of the audiobook version than I do the ebook version. But, yeah, buy The Possibility of Sex, number one. And if you already have that book, if you have indefinite bitterness, anger, bitterness, resentment towards women after reading The Possibility of Sex, something's wrong with you. You fuck what might be wrong with women, something's wrong with you. Because I break down how women are. See, my thing is this, dude. And again, I'm going to invoke the name of Rollo Tomasi. Rollo Tomasi basically said this, man, in one of his blog posts, which I thought was well written. I can't remember the exact words, but he said he essentially said the purpose of making men what's known as red pill aware, basically aware of women's true nature, is not so that they will become angry, bitter, and resentful towards women for the rest of their life, but it's just so that you can quickly realize that women are not the innocent, wholesome creatures that you thought they were, and you can make adjustments in your beliefs, your attitudes, and various aspects of your behavior, and then you just move on from there. But, I mean, to me, if anybody read or listened to my audiobook, The Possibility of Sex, and they just remain bitter after that, then they got issues, man. They got issues. And I don't have any sympathy or empathy for those issues. You got issues, man. I can help you become more aware of women's true nature. And the two areas I tend to specifically concentrate on, probably more than arguably other areas of women's behavior, is most of my books, as far as emphasizing women's behavior, tends to emphasize how sexually duplicitous women are and how misleading and manipulative they can be. How sexually duplicitous women are and how dishonest, misleading, and manipulative they can be. That's the two main areas I concentrate on to do with women, primarily. And once I let you in on those things, and I let you know in a very detailed manner the various ways that women are sexually duplicitous and the various ways that they're dishonest, misleading, and manipulative, what you should do is absorb that knowledge, and then, if nothing else, quit being so fucking naive towards women. See, I'm going to tell you a few of the problems that some of you men have. Okay, now I'm going to promote my other book, The Beta Male Revolution. If you read both the Possibility of Sex and The Beta Male Revolution, if you don't have that book, get that book. It's in ebook form, paperback, and audiobook. Now, again, I prefer you get the audiobook because I make more money off the audiobook. The least amount of money I make is the paperback version. So out of my 3 versions of books, I make the most money off of my audiobook versions, second most off of my ebook, and the least off of my I don't make hardly any money off of my paperbacks. And so that means some of you haters are going to say, yeah, we're going to buy the paperback version because we know Alan don't make hardly no money off of this paperback. So we're going to buy the paperback version just out of spite. Here's what I basically break down in the Beta Male Revolution. I'm not going to go into detail because obviously I want you to read the book or listen to the audiobook. But here's the basic bad news for you. The bad news for you guys. Okay? Here's just in a nutshell the bad news. We're living in the 21st century. Specifically the year 2017 right now. Okay? Things were, you can arguably say, a lot better for relationships in 1917 and maybe even in 1817. Well, not for black folk in 1817. That's another story for another day. But things were a lot better, 75, 100 years ago. Here's the thing. We ain't never going back to that. Period. Okay? Do you understand that? Do you get that? Do you understand that we're never, ever, ever going to return to the way life was in 1917 or 1927 or 1937 or 1947? Do you understand that? Please tell me you understand that. Please tell me you understand that. If you have my book, The Beta Male Revolution, I make that crystal clear that we're never going to return to 1917, 1927, 1937, and 1947. Never ever. That period between 1960 and 1974 changed everything as far as male-female relationship dynamics. Everything. Okay? Do you understand that? Please raise your hand at home. Even though nobody see you raise your hand, just raise your hand at home and say to yourself right now, I understand that, Alan. I understand that. Because see, this is what is fucking a lot of you guys up, man. We ain't gonna never go back to the latter part of the 19th century or the early part of the 20th century. We ain't gonna never go back to that period. It's done. That period between roughly 1960 and 1974 changed dynamics as far as dating rituals between men and women, sexual rituals between men and women forever. Okay? You understand that? See, here's the only way we can return to a society that would be similar to how it was 75 to 100 years ago. We would have to outlaw all birth control. We'd have to just eliminate all birth control. Birth control pill, sponges, diaphragms, even get rid of condoms. Just get rid of all that shit. Okay, you understand that? We would have to get rid of all birth control. That would be number one. If it was our goal and objective to return to how things were 75 to 100 years ago. Have to get rid of all birth control. We'd have to make abortion illegal. Abortion would have to become illegal again. Like that's ever going to happen. Abortion is going to have to become illegal again. Okay, you got that? So we have to get rid of birth control. And we got to make abortion illegal again. We got to reverse the Roe versus Wade decision. Like that's ever going to happen. Okay. Next thing that's going to happen. Fathers of daughters would have to reclaim their position as essentially owning their daughter's pussy. Okay? Because that's how it was before the days of feminism. The fathers determined who their daughter was going to have sex with. And that was usually that woman's husband and her husband only. Women's fathers dictated who they were allowed to have sex with. Do you think that's ever going to happen in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years? Now, there's probably a small percentage of families where that probably still happens. I wouldn't say that totally doesn't happen. I think there's some women whose fathers still have a high degree of influence over their sexual behavior. But that probably is like maybe 2 or 3% of all women in society. Okay? Fathers don't have no say-so over who their daughters fuck these days. Come on, let's be real. That's bullshit. Those days are over. Finally, husbands would need to reclaim the right to beat the shit out of their wives if their wives get out of order. Just beat the shit out. Like domestic violence would have to be legalized. And along with that, men would be able to rape their wives if their wives even thought about denying sex from them. They would have to reclaim the ability to legally just date rape their wives if their wives even thought about denying them sex. Okay? So for us to return to how things were 75 to 100 or more years ago, let me recap. You would have to eliminate all forms of birth control and birth control contraceptives. All forms of birth control would have to be eliminated. That's number one. Number two, you'd have to legalize abortion again. Okay? That's number two. Number three is fathers would have to be put in a position where they have almost total influence over all their daughters' sexual behavior. Where whatever their rules are goes for their daughters. Men would have to be given the freedom to commit some form of physical, for lack of a better term, physical abuse, physical punishment, if their women disrespect them or be smart alecky towards them or just get out of pocket. You know, husbands would have the right to discipline their wives as they see fit. Finally, along with number four, would be if the wives even thought about denying them sex, denying their horny husband sex, they'd have the freedom to date rape their wife. See, all of those things were allowed back in the day. Back in the day, all five of those things, you didn't really have no contraceptives. The close thing to birth control was just pulling your dick out and making sure you didn't come in the pussy. That was the closest thing there was to a birth control method. Number two, abortion. Well, abortion was illegal. It was illegal. Before Roe versus Wade, abortion was illegal, man. Now, women still snuck and had illegal abortions, but abortion was illegal, man. And fathers ruled the roost, man. So all that to say that, man, we're never going back to that. The past is the past. Today is a new day. We got to move forward. That's one of the main reasons why I wrote The Beta Male Revolution. Among all my other messages in that book. One of my biggest messages in that book is that we ain't never going back. And part of you men's frustrations is that you want women to be the way they were back in the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. That's the problem, honestly, with a lot of you men in society. You want women to be totally under the influence of men. Basically, you want to go back to a day where men totally called the shots. Where men laid down all the terms, rules, and conditions of how things were going to go, and women enthusiastically and obediently adhered to that. Newsflash, that day ain't never coming back. That day ain't never coming back. That day ain't never coming back. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't men today that don't run shit with women. I know I do. When I deal with women, I only deal with women if they allow me to run shit. I don't deal with women who give me a difficult time. The moment a woman even thinks about giving me a difficult time, I'm done with her. I only deal with women who have a very feminine, obedient, and submissive nature about themselves. So, you know, that's all I do. Oh, no, I got to add on one more thing. I forgot. So I named 5 things. I got to add on 6 things. 6 things. The vast majority of women back in the day, including my mother and her 2 sisters, most women at the time they got married were virgins. So you can say that indirectly relates to point number 1 about getting rid of birth control. Most women were virgins. See, that's another problem with you guys today. And I mentioned this in at least one other video podcast. A lot of you women, a lot of you men out here, you want to own a woman's pussy. Be honest. Raise your hand at home, even if nobody's to see you. Just raise your hand. You want to own a woman's pussy. And a lot of you guys are bitter. If I had to use an analogy, let's put it in terms of cars. Sometimes I like to compare women to cars. And let's make the argument that most men ideally want a new car. A lot of men don't want a certified pre-owned car or a used car. They want a brand new car, a car that they know nobody else drove before them. That nobody else put mileage on that car before them. Newsflash. In today's society, that's highly unlikely to happen. Just about every woman you end up in a long-term relationship with or get married to, I can almost guarantee you that she's going to have fucked at least a handful of other guys before you get to her. I can guarantee you that. I mean, I can think of women I fucked who are now married or engaged to be married or in a long-term relationship with a guy. Like my college sweetheart, man. She ended up getting married to a guy. They were married up until the time she passed away in 2013. They were married for what? They were married for like 28 years. Yeah, they were married for 28 years. Now imagine if my college sweetheart's husband would have been like, no, I ain't marrying you because you spent 3 years fucking Alan. I mean, I fucked the shit out of her, man. My dick was all in her mouth. She swallowed all my cum. I used to spank that ass, slap that ass. I mean, come on, man. Now, of course, she probably didn't share all those details with him. And that's why a lot of women don't like to share details with their new men. But I mean, I'm just keeping shit blunt and real like I do on this channel, man. I mean, my college sweetheart, I fucked the shit out of her, man. There's a lot of women, man, who are now married that have husbands that my dick was all in their mouth. My cum was all down their throat. In some cases, my dick was in their ass. So a lot of you men out here today, I notice you bitter types. Y'all had this attitude like, man, I ain't gonna date no woman that done had another dick in her pussy. Well then, who you gonna fucking date? who you gonna... Well, I ain't gonna marry no woman if she done had 3 or 4 dicks in her mouth and 3 or 4 dicks in her pussy and her ass. Okay, who you gonna marry? You saying you gonna limit yourself to virgins? I say good luck. Good luck. I wish you Godspeed and good luck. Because trust me, shoot, my last serious girlfriend, who I dated, back in 2009, 2010? You think I was naive with her? I mean, shoot. Come on, man. I knew there had been other men's dicks in her mouth, in her pussy, in her ass. I wasn't naive to that shit. I wasn't stupid. Shit, I'll tell you right now, man, any woman you meet, I was going to say who's over the age of 30, but I'd even venture to say over the age of 25. Any woman you meet who's over the age of 25, man, she done had at minimum at least a handful of dicks in her mouth, her pussy, and on her ass. Trust me on that. In today's society, are you serious? Do you know there's women fucking that start fucking now at the age of like 11, 12, 13 years old? Do you know that? Oprah did a show on that one time about how young girls are starting to fuck. Girls are starting to fuck in today's society. Girls, not all women, but a lot of girls start fucking at the age of 11, 12, 13 years old. That means that say you got a girl that starts fucking at 12 years old. That means by the time she's 22, she been fucking for 10 years. By the time she's 22 years old, she been fucking for 10 years. If she start fucking at 15 years old, that means by the time she's 25, she been fucking for 10 years. How the fuck you gonna go about finding a virgin unless you find a woman that comes from some deeply religious family or something? Come on, man. Guys, I've read comments where guys say, the woman I'm dating, I want her to be a woman that I own her pussy. What do you think feminism was about? That's what I try to explain to you in the Beta Male Revolution. What do you think a large part of feminism was women saying, we do not want men to own our pussies. We don't want our fathers to have ownership and influence over our pussies. We don't want our boyfriends and husbands to have ownership and influence over our pussies. Our big brothers to have ownership and influence over our pussies. Nobody. We don't want anybody dictating what we do with our pussies. That was the major element of feminism in the sexual revolution. Women don't want y'all owning their pussies, man. Do you get that? Huh? Do you get that? Or do you get it and you refuse to get it? I get it. One of my infamous Alan Roger Currie challenges to you. Write it in my comment section below. Here's my challenge. Name a guy, a book author who wrote a book encouraging women to go back to being the way they were 75, 100 years ago, and a large group of women said, you know what? Based on the fact that I read that book, I'm going to do that. I'm going to not be promiscuous at all. I'm going to save my pussy for marriage, and I'm going to do that. Right, the name of the author who wrote that book. Name a freelance columnist who wrote a series of articles encouraging women to return to the Victorian era and to be, you know, the dutiful wife. And they all large, not just a handful, but I'm talking about a large group of women said, you know what, after reading these series of articles, we're going to change our ways. Write the name of that freelance columnist. Name, since I'm on YouTube, name a YouTube podcaster that in his comment sections that frequently gets feedback from women saying that because of listening to that man's podcast, that they're going to change their way and turn over a new leaf and become, you know, they're going to behave exactly the way the men in their life want them to behave. Please tell me the name of that podcaster so I can congratulate him and tell him that he is the shit. Share that name with me in my comment section. What's my point? My point is that all you guys who are doing this bitching, y'all ain't accomplishing shit. Y'all ain't changing society back to the way it was. Y'all ain't getting women to change their behavior. And here's the reality, man. Here's the only time women are going to change their behavior and become more down to earth, become easier to get along with, and to some degree become more obedient and submissive to the men's demands. Is when they get older, fatter, on the verge of being broke. When they become older, fatter, on the verge of being broke. That's the only three things that's going to motivate a woman who you say used to be a manipulative bitch to change her ways and become this easy to get along with girlfriend and wife. Is when she gets older, fatter, or she's in a situation where she's on the verge of being broke. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Other than those three scenarios, if a woman is a spoiled bitch, she's going to remain a spoiled bitch. If a woman is a manipulative bitch, she's going to remain a manipulative bitch. If a woman's a materialistic bitch, she's going to remain a materialistic bitch. If a woman's a sexually duplicitous bitch, she's going to remain a sexually duplicitous bitch. Why? Because you thirsty motherfuckers are throwing dick at her every day. That's why. That's why. Because y'all reward bad behavior every day. That's why. What motivation does a woman have to change her behavior when she got dick coming at her every which way? Tell me, share with me, enlighten me. What motivation does a woman have to stop being spoiled, to stop being disrespectful, to stop being promiscuous, to stop being materialistic, etc., 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 if she got dick being thrown at her like on a daily fucking basis? What motivation does she have? It's the same with the men who get labeled assholes and jerks. What motivation do they have to change or improve their behavior if they got pussy being thrown at them on a daily or weekly basis? I know I didn't when I was young. Shit. The times in my life when I was just getting pussy on top of pussy, I didn't have no motivation to make any changes or improvements in my behavior when in response to women's criticisms of me. I didn't give a fuck about women's criticism. I still don't give a fuck about women's criticism of me. But I definitely didn't when I was in my 20s and 30s. Man, I didn't give a fuck about any woman's criticism of me. Because I was getting pussy on top of pussy. So what was my motivation to change or improve my behavior because a woman didn't like it? Now multiply that times 5 or times 10 to do with most good-looking women. If you want a woman that's humble, down to earth, easy to get along with, guess what? You're going to have to sacrifice on the looks and sex appeal end. And a lot of you men are not willing to do that. See, that's your problem. You want a woman that's humble, down to earth, easy to get along with, good moral character, good integrity. But guess what? Then you'll turn around and say, but hey, she got to be real hot though. She got to be real, real hot. Like any woman who's an 8, 9, or a 10, or even a 7, 8, 9, or 10, has any motivation to be humble, down to earth, easy to get along with. What motivation when she got thirsty motherfuckers throwing dick at her on a weekly basis? Please share that with me. Please enlighten me. If a woman knows that she can get dick anytime she wants to, she has no motivation to act the way you want her to act. Because she got a whole bunch of thirsty motherfuckers willing to pay her bills and do whatever she tells them to do. That's why I get on you guys' case about being thirsty and sexually desperate. Because as long as you got weak men out here who are super thirsty, sexually desperate, exceptionally financially generous, what motivation does any woman have to change her behavior and become more humble and down to earth and easy to get along with and less manipulative, etc.? What motivation does she have? I mean, are you serious? You guys are complaining about these women being bitches, but you don't understand you are the guys who are contributing to them being bitches. Because you're so thirsty. You're doing all this tricking. I've heard guys defend tricking. Guys are tricking their ass off these days. Yeah, I heard a podcast host say, oh man, you ain't gonna get no hot quality pussy unless you trick. Okay, but yet the same podcast host wants to turn around and call women bitches. If women know that 4 out of every 5 guys out of society is a fucking potential trick, what motivation do they have to be humble, down to earth, and easy to get along with? If I was a woman, I wouldn't. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm so thankful God blessed me to be a man. I would never want to be a woman. But if I was a woman, a good-looking, hot woman, oh, dude, man, I'd be the biggest bitch out there. I'd be running all the motherfuckers, knowing what I know about men. Shit, if I was a good-looking woman, man, I'd be running motherfuckers. I wouldn't pay none of my own bills. I would be running circles over motherfuckers, man. I would be using all these weak-ass motherfuckers out here. I would treat them like shit. Because I know they would allow me to. That's what I would do if I was a hot-ass woman. I would treat y'all motherfuckers like shit. And wouldn't think twice about it. Because the only way I would be be able to treat you like shit is if you allow me to treat you like shit. You weak motherfucker. Get out. What the fuck is that? Mosquito or something? That's the only way a woman can treat you like shit is if you exhibit behavior that allows her to treat you like shit. And a lot of you men, y'all allow women to treat you like shit. And then after you get treated like shit, you want to express all this bitterness and hatred and animosity towards women. After you get allowed yourself to get treated like shit. That's what's known as passive aggressive behavior. You first allow yourself to be disrespected and treated like a chump. And then when you've had a few weeks and a few months to marinate, reflect back and marinate on the fact that you were treated like shit and treated like a chump, you're now bitter. Y'all better start looking at some of these quote-unquote average-looking women, even some of these slightly less than average-looking women. Those are the women that's going to have the most motivation to treat you right. It ain't going to be these hot women. If y'all saying y'all want a woman to treat you with the highest degree of respect and treat you and be obedient and all that stuff, but at the same time you're saying you're only going to limit yourself to women who are 8s, 9s, and 10s, you're delusional. That's what you are. You're delusional. Because ain't no woman who's an 8, 9, and 10 got any motivation to act the way you fucking want them to act unless you got some exceptionally good-ass dick. That's the only time I've gotten women who are 8, 9s, and 10s to act the fucking way I wanted because I was giving them some good-ass dick. Period. Yeah, I'm tooting my horn. I gave them some good-ass dick. How do I know I had some good-ass dick? Because women who had boyfriends was throwing the pussy at me. Women who had husbands was throwing the pussy at me. Women who had fiancés was throwing the pussy at me. Because they heard from one of their girlfriends that I fucked them right. As a matter of fact, God, dog, why? Now I gotta have a mosquito, a gnat or something messing up my video part. Now I'm going to go back to the comment section of my last edit. Because I took somewhat offense to this guy saying that I'm dismissive of the challenges of beta males. Okay, here he is. Here he is. A guy, username W Brizzle 81. W Brizzle 81. This guy accused me. Oh, I think I got you. I think I got you. Got your ass, motherfucker. Don't ever fuck with me, boy. Ah, shit. I got that motherfucker. Shit. Mosquito fucking with me. Hell yeah, I got his ass. This dude said I was dismissive. I ain't gonna read all his word for word, but well, I'll read some of his stuff. What did he say? Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. This is what he said, W. Brizzle 81. Very dismissive. Also in line with what he refers to as women have problem in the dating market. It's society's problem. Colorism, fat shaming, not enough qualified men. Insert issue here. Man has problem in the dating market. It's his problem. Man up, deal with it, stop bitching and complaining. Okay, I'll stop right there. What did I say in one of my early video podcasts? When I quoted Vito Corleone from The Godfather, Marlon Brando's character. And my own father taught me this, man. Just because a woman does something doesn't mean a man should feel free to do the same thing. In other words, just because women bitch and moan about men's behavior does not mean that men should try to equal that and do the same thing. And I know not all men are going to agree with me on that, but man, I'm one of them guys, old school guys that believes, man, Like, my father basically told me in so many words that, man, with women, you got to expect that they're going to whine and bitch about shit. That's just in their nature, man. But his basic attitude was, if you're a man, you can't be doing that shit, man. You can't be, I hear a lot of men make this argument, well, hey, women been bitching about us for years, so now it's our turn to bitch, to bitch about them. Maybe that's the new school deal, but man, I'm sorry, man. I call myself old school in that regard, man. I ain't about doing a lot of petty bitching and moaning about women. I talk about women to the point where I want to make men aware of how women are. That's the extent of me highlighting the flaws and weaknesses of women, is just to make men, and particularly my male clients, aware of how women are so they can make adjustments in their behavior and not be so naive and gullible. But beyond that, man, I ain't about bitching and moaning about what's wrong with women and what's fucked up about women, because they're women, man. I mean, that's, to me, I compare it to children, man. That's like bitching and moaning about children. I mean, children are children, man. You got to expect that they're going to be just spoiled to some degree and irresponsible to some degree and all that. I mean, you got to expect that shit. You going to do a bunch of podcasts bitching and moaning about children and teenagers and shit, knowing that that's in their nature to be like that? I mean, come on, man. What the fuck? Women are who they are, man. So hell yeah, I'm going to say to men, man up, man, because you're a fucking man. Women don't ever want to be accountable for their fucked up behavior. But I said that when you watch my video from Orlando, Florida, I talk about this. I ain't going to go into detail. I'll wait till y'all see the video. But, man, that's one of the points. And a lot of guys at the conference loved that point I made, man. In a nutshell, man, I said, man, when you're a man, you can't think like a woman or a child or a teenager. You can't. You can't think like a woman. You can't think like a child, and you can't think like a teenager. You got to be responsible for your actions in your life when you're a fucking man. I ain't down. That's why I ain't down with all this bitching, man. Okay, let me see if I can find another excerpt of what W. Brizzle wrote that I feel is worth addressing. It goes beyond just bitterness over rejection. After all the spurning, rejection, and explicitly informing us of our low position in the dating market, society and women are still demanding that we non-select beta males be good little boys and just play our position, be surrogate fathers and mentors to the kids she had with the men she was actually attracted to, rebuild the very communities that rejected us, do so with a smile, and never complain or air a grievance. I don't even know what to say to that shit. Hey man, like I said in my last upload, my last video, and I've said this is be the dozenth time I've said this. I'm empathetic to men out there who might have some degree of anger, bitterness, or resentment towards women who have actually dogged them out. An ex-wife, an ex-fiance, ex-girlfriend, even maybe a casual sex lover. When you had a woman that directly did something to make your life less enjoyable, I'm empathetic to that. You know, a woman spent money out of your bank account when she shouldn't have. She cheated on you with a bunch of dudes and you didn't know about it until later. She even cheated on you and got pregnant by another guy. She sent you through a nasty divorce or a nasty child custody battle, gave you STD, whatever. I'm empathetic to all. If you find it therapeutic to bitch about those scenarios that I just mentioned, I'm empathetic to that. But I don't care what you write in my comment section. I don't care what you write in my comment section or how much you try to appeal to me with your struggles. If you bitching about something as simple as I wanted romantic and sexual attention from this woman and she didn't give it to me, and you want me to feel sorry for you, hate to tell you this, but fuck you. If that sounds dismissive or sounds like a total, I'm going to tell you this. As far as under this accusation that I lack empathy, if you think I lack empathy now at the age of 54, oh my God, you would have never wanted to be introduced to the 24 or 34-year-old Alan Roger Currie. And I said that in one of my early videos. I remember specifically. I told guys, this was like in one of my videos, of my first 10 videos I did. And now I'm on number 56. But I was giving kind of a backstory myself. And one of the things I told my listeners and viewers, I said, man, I was talking about beta males. I said it wasn't really until I became a dating coach where I started becoming, well, I would say not when I became, probably right before I became a dating coach. When I started becoming more empathetic to a lot of the challenges and struggles of those men who would be known, as this guy put it, the non-select beta males. But dude, when I was between roughly, I don't know, 17 and mid to late 30s, I said this in one of my early videos, man, I didn't give a fuck about no beta males, man. Number one, back then, I didn't really use that term. That's not a term I started using until later, but I didn't really call. See, when I was young, man, probably 90% of my friends, male friends, were guys, other guys who were ladies' man and womanizer types. Like, if you, I hate to say this in a very arrogant type of way, but when I was young, man, if you were a guy who I perceived as not being able to pull honeys, man, I didn't associate with you, man. I really didn't. I'm just being real, man. I mean, I might associate with you on occasion, but as far as like if you weren't in my inner circle, the only guys who were in my inner circle were other guys who I knew could get a lot of pussy. If I didn't perceive you as a guy who had the looks, the personality, or a seductive charm to get a lot of pussy, man, I didn't hang around you, man. And then take it a step further, if you were a guy that was essentially like a beta male type or non-select type, or just in other words, a guy who didn't have much success pulling women, and you introduced me to one of your female friends or your soon-to-be girlfriend or your current girlfriend, and she looked at me with a look like I would let you hit it, I was going to fuck your girlfriend. I know that sounds cold, but that's the truth. And I talked about that in a couple of my previous videos, man. I ain't ruthless like that no more, but when I was young, man, I'm telling you, man, like I said in one early video, when it came to seducing women, I had the mentality of a ruthless hitman. And that's real. I ain't saying that lightheartedly. Dude, I was gonna fuck your bitch if she get now. I wouldn't aggressively pursue other men's women, but if another guy's woman even halfway flirted with me and gave me body language signs that I could hit it, oh, dude, I was gonna fuck your bitch, man. I'm telling you straight up. When I was in my 20s and early mid-30s, I was gonna fuck your bitch, man. If your bitch even remotely flirted with me, I was gonna fuck your girl. I might even fuck her in your house. That's how cold-blooded I was, man. Real talk. Shit, I had women suck my dick in their boyfriend's car, in their boyfriend's house. Shit, man. So if somebody said that the 2017 Alan Roger Currie lacks empathy, then y'all never wanted to meet the Alan Roger Currie who was between roughly 17 and mid to late 30s, dude. I'm telling you, dude, I was a handful, man. I didn't have no empathy for what I now refer to as beta males. I didn't have no empathy for motherfuckers in that category. I didn't give a fuck about y'all motherfuckers. I was a narcissistic, egotistical, self-centered motherfucker when it came to pussy. All I cared about what was good for me and my dick. The only possible exception would be my real close homies. Now, I had some girlfriends of my real close homies that threw the pussy at me, and 95% of the time I didn't take it out of respect for my close homies, but man, I used to tell guys, man, don't tell your girls about me. Like, some guys would make the mistake of telling their girlfriends and significant others about me. Like, I know when I was living in LA, I had this buddy, and he would always be like, man, I be telling my girlfriend about how you seduce women real quick and how you talk nasty and dirty to them. And I'd be like, dude, why you telling your girlfriend that shit, dude? Because in my mind, I was like, she gonna get curious. Sure enough, one time I called looking for my buddy, the one who was sharing all this information with his girlfriend. And sure enough, his girlfriend was like, so you're Alan. I heard about you. And she said it with a voice like, ooh. She said, I heard about you. I heard you just get women's pussies wet like magic. I hear you just have women just competing with each other to suck your dick. Next thing you know, man, she basically let me know. She was like, sometimes your friend ain't here. You could come over and get this. She basically was letting me know I could fuck her, man. This was one of my boys, man. This was the girlfriend of one of my boys. And she was like, when he ain't here, you can come over and get this. And I was like, no, I ain't trying to fuck you. That's my boy. That's my dude. What are you talking about? But what did she say? She kept saying, he told me all about you. He said you get pussy like a half hour after you meet women. You be having threesomes and shit with two women and shit. She was like, I got some good pussy. This was one of my boys' girlfriends, man. She was like, I got some good pussy. That's how women are, dude. This is what I've been trying to tell you, man. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Read the Beta Male Revolution. Listen to the audiobook. Absorb all the knowledge, really from all my books. All my books have knowledge and wisdom that's going to help beta males. All of my books. But I would say if there's two in particular is The Possibility of Sex and the Beta Male Revolution. But really, all of my books are really geared. It ain't really any of my books that I would say are exclusively geared towards other womanizing alpha males, because most of them know the knowledge and wisdom I'm sharing. Most of the knowledge I share in all my books, starting with Mode 1, is really geared towards either total beta males or guys who are a blend of alpha beta, what I call alpha betas or beta alphas. But yeah, the two books in particular is The Possibility of Sex and the Beta Male Revolution, man. I mean, to me, I don't really leave any stone unturned in those two books, man. I mean, I make you aware of how women are, man. Women are a trip, dude. Period. Understatement of the year. Women are a trip, dude. I'm going to give you one more of wisdom I have from the Beta Male Revolution. Now, I think I've mentioned this in at least one video podcast before. Here's what you got to understand about women when it comes to relationships. Women don't get into marriages or relationships primarily or exclusively for good sex. They don't. And I would say to a lesser extent, even men are the same way. But definitely women. That is never a woman's number one reason for getting into a long-term relationship with a guy or a marriage with a guy. It's for good sex. If women want good sex, they can find that anytime they want to. Period. There's a bunch of guys that women can get good dick from. Why do you think I fucked so many women who had husbands, boyfriends, and fiancés? If women just want good dick, they know where to get good dick from. Believe that shit. Believe that shit. Believe that shit. If women just want good dick and good dick only, like nothing else other than good dick, they know where to get good dick from. That ain't rocket science to them. They know where to get good dick from. Women get into relationships equally, if not more so, for what you bring into the table non-sexually. Your non-sexual attention and companionship. Your financial support. Your desire to help men raise kids. I mean, help men raise kids. Your desire to help women raise kids. That type of thing. To flatter them, to entertain them, to be emotionally empathetic to their problems, disappointments, and frustrations. That's what women get into a relationship for, is all the shit you bring into the table, either in addition to sex or even more so instead of sex. That's why they want to get into a relationship with you. But if women's objective is just strictly good dick, a woman needs to be getting no husband or a long-term boyfriend for that. When you gonna recognize that shit? And as far as this guy saying, talking about men's place in life, man, dude, I gotta be blunt like I am on the show. Do you think everybody who plays in the NFL is gonna be a starter? Do you really? Do you think every guy who plays in the NBA is gonna be a starter or an all-star? Some guys, their whole NBA career, they was on the bench. They came off the bench. Some guys only came off the bench in garbage time. Now, does that mean that they wish they had never been in the NBA because they were never a starter or never all-star? Hey man, I don't want to break some of you guys' hearts, but I think I did it in at least one other previous video, one of my first harsh admonishments, where I told some of you guys, I said, some of you guys, y'all ain't gonna never share the bed of a 7, 8, 9, or 10. That was probably my harshest admonishment I've done to date, where I can't remember the name of that video or the number. But I told some of you guys, I said, some of you guys, man, y'all ain't gonna never share the bed of no 7, 8, 9, or 10. Ever. Like, ever in your life. Unless, I said, with the exception if you pay for it. Now, if you got big money, you'll always be able to share the bed of a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If you talking about pussy that you tricking for, you spending money for, yeah. I would say all guys got a chance of sharing the bed of a woman who's a 7, 8, 9, or 10 if they're paying for it. But if you take away money, no. Some of you guys ain't gonna never share the bed of a 7, 8, 9, or 10. See, like me, to toot my horn, I've shared the bed of at least 2 or 3 10s in my life without the benefit of spending large amounts of money on those women. I've shared the bed of quite a few 9s without spending any large amounts of money on those women. And I've shared the bed of a high number of 7 and 8s without spending jack shit on them. That's been the life of Alan Roger Currie. And I know some of you all don't like that. That I've gotten free pussy that y'all can't even get if y'all offer money. I know some of y'all are player haters out there. But that's just life. That's how life is. That was one of the points of my last video. Life ain't fair. You don't think it's been the same with me? There's motherfuckers in Hollywood and who play professional sports that have gotten way more pussy than me. I ain't gonna player hate on those motherfuckers. Shit. Warren Beatty, one of my idols, man. This motherfucker reportedly fucked like 16,000 women in his life, man. Let's say that that's an exaggeration and he really only fucked 8 to 10,000 women. That's still a hell of a lot of women, man. I ain't never came close to fucking them type of numbers. 8 to 10,000 women. But I love Warren Beatty. I love him to death, man. I love him. Will Chamberlain, one of my frat brothers, man. Will Chamberlain was a fraternity brother of mine. He reportedly fucked 20,000 women in his life. Now, let's say that was an exaggeration. He really only fucked like 12 to 14,000. That's a lot of motherfucking women. I bet you any money that Warren Beatty fucked a lot of women that ended up being some other guy's wife. But to him, it was a fuck buddy. Will Chamberlain fucked a lot of women that ended up becoming some other dude's wife. But for him, it was a fuck buddy. Same with me, man. I haven't fucked nearly the numbers of Warren Beatty and Will Chamberlain, but I've had my share. My shit's in the hundreds. And And my phone sex partners in the thousands. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier in this video, there's a lot of women I used to basically, they were my just casual fuck buddies, but later on they became somebody else's wife or long-term girlfriend. I've had women that they sucked my dick within an hour after I met them that some other guy ended up marrying a few months or a few years later. I've had women that I fucked immediately that were already married. Again, man, in my lifetime, I would say there's been no less than 35 to 40 women that I fucked. That at the time I fucked them either had a husband, a fiance, or a long-term boyfriend. Now, compared to the women I fucked that were not in that category, that's only a small percentage. But it's significant of enough percentage. Yeah, I fucked probably 35 to 40 women that had either a boyfriend at the time, a fiance at the time, or a husband at the time. And I treated them like they were just the kinkiest sluts on earth, whereas their husband was treating them like the good girl. I was slapping my dick all on their face. They were swallowing my cum and going back home to their husband. I know that sounds fucked up, don't it? That this woman was sucking my dick, swallowing my cum, and then going back home and tongue kissing her husband. That's life, man. I used to have a cousin that used to say, life in the big shitty. Instead of life in the big city, he said, life in the big shitty. That used to crack me up. Life in the big shitty. That's life in the big shitty, man. Now, what I'm saying to you all guys is that, see, here's where you need to read this book that I always promote. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the main things that Stephen Covey says in that book is that one of the things about human beings is that we always choose our response. We always choose our response. In other words, if somebody makes you angry enough to want to kill them, you can never pick up a gun and shoot that person and then say, well, I wouldn't have shot that person if he didn't make me angry. He made me so angry I had to kill him. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I've heard people say that. They'll say, oh, that person made me so angry I had to steal on them in their jaw. That person made me so angry I had to stab him. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And Stephen Covey talks about that in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You, as a human being, you always choose your response. If somebody makes you really, really angry, say so angry to the point where you want to kill them, there's always at least a few seconds where you can say, well, I'm going to choose not to shoot this person. Or I'm going to choose not to stab this person. Or I'm going to choose not to steal on this person in their jaw. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. That's one of the things I borrowed from Stephen Covey and I implement in my books. You always have a choice, man. You can't say, well, these women are so ratchet and they so fucked up, I can't help but to hate them. I can't help but to be angry and bitter. That's not true. That's a lie you're telling yourself. You always have a fucking choice. You always have a choice. You are lying to yourself and lying to others when you express comments suggesting that you do not have a choice over your actions and behavior. You always have a choice. If you're being angry and bitter towards women, it's because you're choosing to be. Ain't nobody making you be angry and bitter. Don't ever say something like, oh, women give me no choice but to be angry, bitter, and resentful towards them. That's bullshit, man. That is bullshit. That is you being a man that's not taking responsibility and accountability for your own beliefs, your own attitudes, and your own actions, habits, and behavior. That is bullshit, man. You always have a fucking choice. Everything you do is the result of a choice you make and a decision you make. Everything. Everything you do and everything you allow other people to do is a result of a choice and decision that you fucking make. If a woman is treating you like a chump right now, it's because you made the choice to allow her to treat you like a chump. If you tricking with women, you chose to trick with women. If you letting a woman exploit you for your money and material possessions, you chose to allow her to do that. If a woman is exhibiting spoiled behavior and disrespectful behavior towards you, it's because you made the choice to allow her to do that. Don't blame your problems on other people. If you're a man, don't blame your problems on women. And I'm saying to you, if I got women listening, I'm saying the same thing to you. If you're a woman listening to me right now, don't be blaming your problems on men. It ain't men's fault that you let men dog you out. You know, women say shit like, yeah, he took his dick right out my ass and put it in my mouth. That's fucked up. You allowed him to put it in your motherfucking mouth after it was in your ass. That's called a dirty Sanchez. That's what they call that, a dirty Sanchez. When a man takes his dick right out of a woman's ass and puts it in her mouth. I've done that once. I try not to do I'm nasty, but I ain't that nasty. But I've done that one time with a woman. I was hate fucking her ass. Took my dick right out of her ass and put it in her mouth. But shit, she opened her motherfucking mouth. She opened her motherfucking mouth. I didn't force her to open her motherfucking mouth. She opened her motherfucking mouth. You got choices, fellas. Be responsible for your choices and decisions. Hashtag master of my choices and decisions. Master of my choices and decisions. This is my last free video for the month of October. I'm going to do at least one more video, if not two more videos that are going to be Patreon exclusive next week. Next week, I'm going to do some Patreon exclusive videos before the month of October expires. And then I'll come back with another free video probably the first or second week in November. All right, fellas, marinate on everything I said. Marinate on everything I said. I'll talk to you. Mode 1, baby. Make shit happen. Be the master of your choices and decisions.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.